What's going on, everybody? This is Jose Bancourt, and as always, thank you for viewing my videos. So here I'm demonstrating the photo app on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20. It's the, I don't know if they have an official app name, but back to the point. There's a pro mode. So on the pro mode, you can set your ISO, your shutter speed, you can manually focus on the image, you can even set your white balance. And what's really cool, they have metering modes. So if I can tap on the corner, right now I can't because the screen recording controls are right next to the metering mode. But I can set my aspect ratio. I'll leave it at 1:1. Let's see, 9:16. Brings it a little closer. I'll leave it at 1:1. So I want to demonstrate a few things. Number one, I want to show on the fly what different aspects of your camera can do. So even though there's a mobile phone, but if you're using a regular camera and you decide to go into manual mode, you'll experience the same thing. So here is ISO. ISO basically is going to increase the sensitivity to light that your sensor can take. So the higher the ISO, the more light you're going to let in, and the more light you let into the sensor, the more noise. So you want your ISO to be as low as possible. So if you've seen older smartphones and you've seen people take night shots and you see a bunch of blocky artifacts in the photo and they don't look sharp, that is noise. The camera basically set the ISO and the exposure as high as possible, and you got a very sloppy shot. So if you make the ISO as low as possible, something has to give. So the next thing you would do is work on your shutter speed. Now I have the Note 20 Ultra on a tripod, so I don't need high shutter speed, but if I increase my shutter speed, you're going to see how things get darker. The shutter speed basically controls how quickly the shutter opens and closes. So if you want an action shot, somebody running, and you want them to look absolutely frozen in time, you increase the shutter speed. If you want some blur, like I put a scene where I took a photo of a road and there were some cars coming. If I put the shutter speed at to, let's say, 1/5 of a second, you're going to see streams of light. And if I'm holding the camera still, you'll see the road very clear, but you'll see streams of light from the cars, from the headlights and the tail lights. So anyway, enough yapping. So right now, I'll leave it at 1/30th of a second. I have an external light source, and I'm going to shut it off so you could see. So with my external light source, I want to make sure that I'm not clipping the face. All right, I don't want Batman's face right here to be blown out. So that's why I'm messing with the ISO and the shutter speed. Let's go to manual focus so I can set it to auto. And let me demonstrate how fast this autofocus is. I'll go from the other end so you can see my hand even better. Look how fast that is. That is blazing fast. But if I decided, you know what, I don't trust it, I can do manual mode. So as you see the green outline, that's called focus peaking. And that's letting me know that anything in green is in focus. So what I'm aiming for is to have the one eye that is visible. I want that to be in focus. Now what I'm going for in this particular shot is something moody. I want something very dramatic, so I want half of his face, some of the bat symbol to be seen. I want the cape to be seen as well, half of his cape anyway. And I want to keep the shadows as is. Now, let's say I wanted to go Let's see if I can. Let's see. Okay. Here I had messed with some settings. Highlights, shadows. I could do my own. Basically, I could do my own filter. And I can do a preset. So I can set the contrast. I can increase or decrease. Let's decrease the saturation just a bit. Lower the highlights. See if I increase the highlights, you see how things get brighter. So lower that, and then I can darken the shadows or lower them. I don't want to crush them, so I'll give, for more dramatic effect, I will increase the shadows. And then it comes time to take the photo, so let's do that. And let's see what we got. So let's zoom in. And you see that we get a pretty nice dramatic photo. Now, if I was taking this with my Fuji GFX 50R, that's the kind of lighting setup I would go for. Of course, I'm not comparing my Samsung Galaxy Note 20 to my Fuji GFX. No way I'm doing that. But it's still cool that I can manually control the photos and the mood on my camera. Well, in this case, on my phone. I could do it manually and set it the way I would on a regular camera. So before I go, I want to show, I'm going to turn off the light. Okay, I want to show night mode. So here we go to photo, actually night mode. So night mode is, the phone is going to calculate what it needs in order for this photo to be, whoops, we didn't want to zoom in that one. Alrighty then. So zoom in a little bit and make sure that Batman's face is a bit in focus. And then with this lever over here, I can actually set the exposure a little bit. And let's see what night mode will do. Now quickly, down here where the pointer is at is letting me know that it's going to do a 5-second exposure, meaning that I would have to hold my phone very still for 5 seconds. And it will tell you right on top of Batman, hold your camera still. And let's see what happens. And this is the final image. Whoops, I don't know why I did that. So I have no lighting, as you saw. I have no lighting. Let's go back to Pro mode. Whoops. Let's go back to Pro mode. It went from that to that. Now, if I went to regular photo mode, and I decided I want to use this 108 megapixel sensor, the same thing is going to happen. I'm going to have to adjust this lever, turn on my light source, and hope for the best. Now, this is this other dot is telling me if I align the dot, that would be the optimal photo, meaning composition wise. But I can't do any adjustments here, and I would have to accept what the calculations tell me to accept. And even though I'm getting an image, let's look at the details here. That is 12, what is that? 12,000 by 9,000, okay? That is a lot of information. Whoops, excuse me. I'm trying to use my S Pen to zoom in. So look at this image. That's a lot of information. And if I wanted to crop this in, I have a nice sharp image that I can crop in and maybe use mobile Lightroom to edit it and make it look a little moodier. I can do that as well. But regardless, this is just the app, the photo app, stock photo app that comes with your camera. Once again, and it's using HDR. I wonder if I can disable it. I don't think I can. I can do it in the settings, of course. There's a lot of settings in this phone. But not only can I do all types of productivity and content creations, but I can also create my own photo the way I want to create it and make it look a lot moodier. So I enjoy that. And I can zoom in if I want as well. And just manually, once again, use the manual focus to make sure everything is sharp. So you can see it. And fire away. And let's see what happens. Let's see what kind of photo I get. So it's a very, very nice setup. I think the camera on the Note 20 Ultra is really great. And it's never going to replace any of my Fuji cameras, but is a good substitute. If I want to just use pro mode on certain images that aren't moving around at 100 miles an hour, I can do that and get fairly good results. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, folks. As always, I thank you for viewing my videos. I am Jose Betancourt. I'll talk to you later. Bye.